Rise and shine, Miss Valentine. Rise and shine. Not to imply that you've been sleeping on the job. After all, another great trial awaits you. Though I'm sure I don't have to inform you of that, do I? You're quite used to taking on near impossible trials in your past, and this one may be no different for you. So wake up, Miss Valentine. Wake up and smell the ashes. Oh, I'm back at the building again. At least I think I am. Anyway, you know my name, and if you don't, I'm Stell, but you can call me Sandy. I believe I don't really need to introduce the topic of today's video. After all, it's only one of the most recognizable sequels of all time, Half-Life 2. I have already spoken at length about Half-Life 1 and its expansions and remakes in previous videos, and if you haven't seen them yet, they'll pop up in the corner of the screen and be in the description. Seeing as this is likely to be the grand send-off of my discussion of the mainline Half-Life series, at least until I get enough money for VR and Half-Life Alyx, I thought I'd do something crazy with this grand finale. Here I'll be covering Half-Life 2 as well as its episodes in one somewhat coherent video produced by yours truly. Sound good? I hope so, because I can only assume editing me is gonna have an absolute field day putting all this together. So without further delay, let's discuss Half-Life 2 and its episodes, and why this is the best unfinished story in gaming. Anyways, new game means new lore, which also means the obligatory history segment. Half-Life 2 was released in late 2004, more specifically 3 days before the 6-year anniversary of the original Half-Life. The interesting thing about this release date is that it was originally planned to release a year prior, but got delayed for a number of reasons, but I do still want to emphasize that with Valve's size at that time, a 6-year difference between games, especially with this amount of improvement, is basically like a fully revamped sequel coming out like a year after the first game during today's age of technology. Speaking of improvement, while Half-Life utilized a modified version of the Quake engine during its initial release, you might recall from the expansions video that Valve worked on a whole new engine alongside their work on the sequel. This engine utilized Havoc's real-time physics to basically enhance immersion and allowed for a number of unique things that we will get into later, assuming you don't already know. But this game, much like its predecessor, ended up becoming yet another extremely popular game, redefining the FPS genre once again and leading to a booming modding scene, which would lead to everyone's favorite Half-Life 2 spin-off mod, Gary's Mod. I can't even say that with a straight face. But with that out of the way, let's get into Half-Life 2.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Well, what an opening. At least we're in some familiar circumstances. A train heading towards, well, somewhere.
I didn't see you get on.
Oh yeah, I guess I did just kind of show up, huh? Anyway, we eventually arrive at the illustrious City 17, as stated by the giant screen that greets you as you leave the train.
Welcome. Welcome to City 17. You have chosen, or have been chosen, to get fucked in the ass. You have chosen, or been chosen, to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration here, in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home. And so, Whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17. It's safer here.
Yeah, this place has dystopia written all over the first 30 seconds, huh? Relocation? Remaining urban centers? What the hell does any of that mean? And what's with the flying flashbang robots? It certainly doesn't get any better as we witness some casual police brutality on a guy just trying to grab his suitcase. If we try to intervene, they brand their baton as a warning. There's also this woman here that talks about how her husband was taken away for questioning. Just what happened during her 20 years in stasis? What's interesting is the amount of world building that happens in just the first 5 minutes of Half-Life 2. Almost every citizen you come across is not only wearing the same jumpsuit of sorts, but they all have different things to say when you interact with them that gives just a little more detail on just how fucked up the Earth's current situation is. And we still don't even know what really caused all this aside from the vague mention of benefactors by the guy on the big screen, who, for the sake of brevity, I'll just let you know is named Dr. Breen.
I'm working up the nerve to go on.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Anyway, after overhearing some citizens trash talk Breen, we make our way to the line where citizens are being waved off either up ahead or to an ominous-looking train to the left. Once we get our turn, we're sent to the left, and when we get there, one of the cops tells us to follow them. After we get a glimpse at some, questionable interrogation methods, we're led into a room alone with this guy.
About that beer I owed you. It's me, Gordon, Barney from Black Mesa.
Oh, you fucker.
I've been working undercover with civil protection. I can't take too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind on my beating quota.
Yes, Barney, what is it? I'm in the middle of a critical test.
Sorry, Doc, but look who's here.
Great Scott! Gordon Freeman! I expected more warning.
Yeah, you and me both, Doc. He was about to board the express to Nova Prospect.
Well, Barney, what do you intend?
I'm thinking.
Alex is around here somewhere. She would have a better idea how to get him here.
Well, as long as he stays away from checkpoints, we should be okay. Listen, I gotta go, Doc. We're taking enough chances as it is.
Very well. And, Gordon, good to see you.
Well, after that reunion, we're urged to move along to another area, which in turn leads us to another part of the station, thankfully. It's then that we meet this cop.
No, fuck off.
We're also greeted by another pre-recorded Breen propaganda speech, mainly discussing something about a reproduction suppression field. His answer for why such a thing even exists is...
rather than try to answer every possible question you might have left unvoiced. First, let us consider the fact that for the first time ever, as a species, immortality is in our reach. This simple fact has far-reaching implications. It requires radical rethinking and revision of our genetic imperatives. It also requires planning and forethought that run in direct opposition to our neural presets. I find it helpful at times like these to remind myself that our true enemy is instinct. Instinct was our mother when we were an infant species. Instinct coddled us and kept us safe in those hard-scrabble years when we hardened our sticks and cooked our first meals above a meager fire and started at the shadows that leapt upon the cavern's walls. But inseparable from instinct is its dark twin, superstition. Instinct is inextricably bound to unreasoning impulses, and today we clearly see its true nature. Instinct has just become aware of its irrelevance, and like a cornered beast, it will not go down without a bloody fight.
Yeah, it's about as batshit insane as you would expect. Anyway, once we finally get a view of the outside, we're greeted by the average Floridian skyline. Yes, even including the 6-mile-tall skyscraper ominously looming in the distance. As we continue through these streets and view more questionable methods of arrest and questioning, we find an apartment complex that is apparently in the midst of being raided by the civil protection units. Apparently it happens so often that some rooms just don't even have doors anymore. Also, get this shit out of here. Anyway, after this, a warning goes out and the civil protection start to take notice of your existence, which naturally leads you upstairs where a civilian urges you to head to the roof. As you do so, the civil protection starts showing up from pretty much damn near everywhere, and even when you're on the roof, they're shooting at you from the streets. Eventually, you're cornered by the civil protection and...
Over here! Ha! No, you don't! Dr. Freeman, I presume.
Smash. Anyway, time for a little tangent. Okay, you might have noticed a distinct lack of actual cutscenes in the Half-Life games, aside from maybe a few less interactive scenes, and that's something I wanted to bring up now, as this game is the only one with actual cutscenes, shall we say. Yet, despite that, they're used very sparingly, only showing up in certain parts where interactivity isn't exactly the most necessary, and I think this is really interesting. A lot of games use cutscenes to transition between levels, or for bosses, or for whatever else, but a lot of Source games and mods amplify immersion by allowing you to actually have some level of agency during parts where most others would have just put a cutscene. Don't get me wrong, I love my aura farming boss transitions from Elden Ring, but when it comes to a game like Half-Life, their method of having more immersive scenes with very few actual cutscenes works unbelievably well, and is what I think serves as one of the many ways to identify a Source game. Okay, anyway, back on topic. After Alex saves her ass from the civil protection, she introduces herself and leads you to a secret lab ran by none other than Dr. Kleiner. After being told that they're working on a teleporter, Barney arrives and warns about the civil protection being on high alert. We're then told that this is the first test day of this new teleporter, which has me as well as Alex worried since Barney mentioned something about a cat for some reason.
You mean it's working? For real this time? Because I still have nightmares about that cat.
No, there's nothing to be nervous about.
cat?
We've made major strides since then. Major strides.
What cat?
It's then that Barney opens up the door to our good old HEV suit, and then gets assaulted by Kleiner's pet headcrab, and eventually opens up the capsule after it escapes. Oh, how I've missed you, old friend.
Well, Gordon, I see your HEV suit still fits you like a glove. At least the glove parts do.
Are you calling me fat? Anyway, after a brief introduction to the changes to the suit, namely the ability to draw suit power from combined energy sources, we're brought to the teleport chamber. Here we see Eli Vance, ready to see Alex teleported to him. And after just a few technical hiccups, Alex is teleported to Eli's location safely, giving Kleiner the confidence to teleport us next.
Good job, Gordon. Throwing that switch and all. I can see your MIT education really pays for itself.
Alright, hey, listen here, you little Anyways, as we step into the teleporter and it powers up...
Excellent. Initializing in 3, 2, 1. Barney, if you'd be so kind.
Good luck out there, Gordon.
Yes, indeed. We're ready to project you, Gordon. Bon voyage, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Final sequence. The hell? What is it?
It's your head, the freaking head hopper!
Mark, Teddy, no!
There he is! Is Lamar with him? Forget about that thing!
He's coming through, Dad.
What's going on, Judith?
I'm not sure. It seems to be some kind of interference.
Gordon, stay put. We'll get you out of there.
Something is drawing him away.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you? How did you get in here?
Hey, pick us back. I'm getting him out of there. Let us wait, Emil. It will peel you apart.
Just lost Gordon. What's going on?
I wish I knew. I'm encountering unexpected interference.
Don't worry, Gordon.
There he is. We're losing him again.
The man I saw. I'm all but certain it was Gordon Freeman. He didn't come through.
Then where is he?
Behind you. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Gordon, you must get out of here. Run!
Man. We never have much luck with heavy science equipment, huh? Anyway, after running from the flashbang robots that start storming you, we meet up with Barney.
Hey, Gordon! The Citadel's on full alert. I've never seen it lit up like that. Get out of City 17 as fast as you can, Gordon. Take the old canals, right? They'll get you to Eli's lab. It's a dangerous route, but there's a whole network of refugees, and they'll help you if they can. I'd come with you, but I gotta look after Dr. Kleiner. Oh, and before I forget, I think you dropped this back in Black Mesa. Good luck out there, buddy. We're gonna need it.
Oh, how I've missed you too. Now that we have our trusty crowbar, we make our way through this train yard while listening to the most bumping fucking soundtrack you've ever heard. Oh yeah, did I mention that this game has like one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard? Anyway, down here we assault a civil protection unit to get our hands on the pistol. Up here we have to wait for another train, but not to skip City 17 entirely, but just to make it to the other side of this area where once over here it's best to just conserve ammo by shooting the barrels and having these units sent to the heavens. But once we're through here, we fight through more protection units to reach this train car down here. Oh, for fuck's sake, here too? Anyway, after meeting our first friendly Vortigaunt, we head into the railroad, where we are greeted by... Yeah, of course, they're still here. Further down, we find this radio, where two stations are communicating with one another, and one seems to be talking about something called manhacks. Those don't sound good, do they? After finding a way further and making it past Barnacle Alley and a surprise barrel bombing, we find a slippery barnacle area. I guess we're really getting familiar with barnacles today, aren't we? Yay. After a few more ambushes, we are greeted by our first real physics puzzle. Obviously it isn't something too crazy, but it's at least something that works the brain a bit. After passing that puzzle, we find, oh fuck, this is not a drill, run! Okay. Now that we're safe, we can take a moment to collect ourselves. And bomb more barnacles. And of course the helicopter is still out there. Time to run for our lives again. We finally come across this guy who warns us about the fact that the civil protection is trying to tear down these refuge areas.
Looks like you're gonna be the last one through. Be glad you're not the guy they're looking for. Poor bastard doesn't stand a chance.
About that.
With manhacks. You better get going before they sweep through here.
Oh shit! Too late!
Yeah, those were manhacks. I'm not too fond of them. Anyway, further ahead we meet some civil units now armed with SMGs, which naturally we demolish and take an SMG for ourselves. Be ready to use this a lot as it's unironically one of the best weapons in the game. After another surprise barrel bombing and manhack ambush, we find ourselves in that one part of surface tension, but now underground. We're also surrounded by more manhacks. Once again, we find ourselves at another physics-based puzzle, where we need to flood this part of the canal and unleash these giant wooden spools to make our way across. Further down, we meet another civilian gunning down some old friends. Head crabs. I can already tell a friend of mine is going to have a ton of fun with this little area, and it's here that we learned that the Combine have learned how to weaponize the fucking head crabs. They've also somehow made zombies sound even more horrifying. I don't think I'll be sleeping tonight. Anyway, we find an airboat which leads us to a vehicle segment. Thankfully, it's not nearly as bad as on a rail, in my opinion. We also see... Okay, at this point I should just be used to seeing him absolutely everywhere. Anyway, after gunning down some zombies that learned the ancient art of throw shit at your enemy, we find our way to another physics puzzle. I'm really enjoying these unique puzzles around here. Man, if only Valve made a full-on puzzle game. Girl can dream, can't she? Anyway, after we ramp up ahead, we meet the reason I enjoy vehicle segments in this game. The ability to commit vehicular manslaughter. Now we reach this dam of sorts, and our current goal is to open up these gates ahead. In order to do so, we have to get up and into this building to see what we can do. We now get interrupted by more Breen propaganda.
We now have direct confirmation of a disruptor in our midst. One who has acquired an almost messianic reputation in the minds of certain citizens. His figure is synonymous with the darkest urges of instinct, ignorance, and decay. Some of the worst excesses of the Black Mesa incident have been laid directly at his feet. And yet unsophisticated minds continue to imbue him with romantic power, giving him such dangerous poetic labels as the one free man, the opener of the way. Let me remind all citizens of the dangers of magical thinking. We have scarcely begun to climb from the dark pit of our species' evolution. Let us not slide backward into oblivion, just as we have finally begun to see the light. If you see this so-called free man, report him. Civic deeds do not go unrewarded, and contrariwise, complicity with his cause will not go unpunished. Be wise. Be safe. Be aware.
Yeah, whatever, Breen. After fighting through this little gauntlet, we blow open the gates to get back to our boat in record time with very few setbacks. As we ride on past more troops and literal missiles, we find another gate that closes right in front of us. Rude. I guess we got another little gauntlet to go through. Here we find another old friend, the Magnum. It's still just as powerful as ever. Anyway, heading up we see a chopper and civil protection summoning manhacks? Okay, this day just keeps on getting better, huh? Once you get through the... Oh, hi. How are you boys doing? As I was saying, after surviving the shipping container maze and one really fucked up room of enemies, we clear out this little watchtower and use the guns in it to scare away the chopper. Finally, we can open the gate and keep moving along. And they call in another chopper to drop bombs on my head. Time for some sick drifting so I don't blow myself up. After a bit of drifting and driving around these persistent choppers, we find another physics puzzle hidden away from the Combine. This one involves a washing machine that somehow got pushed up here. Don't ask, cause I don't know either. After this, we finally reach Resistance Camp. Here they give you the lowdown on where you need to go to reach a place called Black Mesa East. And once that's done, you'll find their Vortigaunt friend has upgraded your airboat with a gun. Now we haul ass to Black Mesa East, now armed with a gun to blow down those choppers. Alright, anyway, here we are, Black Mesa East. After going into this dark passageway, we're greeted by this woman who soon introduces herself as Judith Mossman. After she lets you in, she leads you down to Eli and will talk about how they got their teleportation working, why the Combine is limited to vehicles. Soon, we meet Eli.
Let me get a look at you, man. My God, you haven't changed one iota. How do you do it?
Oh, you know. Eternal stasis. Anyway, after a little waiting, Alex shows up.
I guess you proved you can handle yourself out there.
There's nothing Gordon can't handle, with the possible exception of you.
Dad, please.
I was going to be
Oh, you'll be surprised, Eli. Excuse me, I have to be professional. Anyway, after fucking with the Zen crystal microwave...
Alex, I thought you were on watch.
The Vortigaunts relieved me so I could come see Gordon. Anyway, I should be in here working on the portal.
I have the repairs well in hand. Someone misjudged the capacity of the Combine thyristor.
Are you blaming me?
No, not at all. It was a calculation error, not a mechanical problem.
Then maybe you should let me do the calculations next time, as well as installing it.
Alex, really? Sometimes I think you deliberately misunderstand me.
I'm really starting to dislike Mossman. I can't put my finger on why, though. Anyway, Alex then leads us to...
That's the old passage to Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore.
You know, something tells me we might have to go to Ravenholm at some point. Anyway, Alex leads us outside and hands us my favorite weapon in... well, any game ever. the gravity gun. And if you've seen Gmod footage, you'll probably know exactly why. This hunk of metal is exactly what it says it is. A gun that controls gravity to pull and shove various objects around, and its only limit is, well, whatever loose objects just surround me in gravity gun distance. While this does mean the obvious, sending explosive and flammable objects right into hordes of enemies, it also means that you can get a little more creative with how you fight enemies, as this is a weapon that turns the very environment around you into a weapon. And yet no other game since has really ever captured the same raw essence of that in the same way the gravity gun has, in my opinion. Anyway, after a little tutorial on how the gravity gun works, Alex decides it's a good idea to bring a dog near such heavy machinery.
Dog, come!
The fuck kind of breed is that? Anyway, after playing catch and fetch with Dog, the Combines start flying overhead, prompting us to run back inside and try to evacuate everyone. Unfortunately, a cave-in causes ourselves and Dog to get cut off from Alex, and she tells us to take the passage through Ravenholm to catch wait, I fucking called it, didn't I? Well, I guess we do in Ravenholm now. Welcome to Ravenholm. It already looks bleak as hell, and it only gets worse from here. Our first visual is a bunch of headcrab shells, which gives us a general idea as to what might have happened here. And our suspicions are confirmed as we're almost immediately greeted by a zombie shambling out of the dark abyss of the next room. At least you're given these saw blades, which do actually saw the zombies in half, which is a nice detail. You can also discover that you can shove and deal a small amount of damage to headcrabs using the gravity gun's blast, which is also a pretty nice thing.
For it was said they had become like these peculiar demons which dwell in matter, but in whom no light may be found.
Who is that? And also, what is that? At least you can use it against the zombies.
For the days of my life have vanished like smoke, and my bones are parched like ash, and let all my impurities be as fuel for that fire until nothing remains but the light alone.
Okay, there is definitely a person still in Ravenholm.
They come like dust before the wind. May the angel of the Lord pursue them.
Okay, what in the John faith is he talking about? Anyway, after trapping a bunch of zombies, we find this giant bonfire of corpses?
What? Who is this? Another life to save? I'll keep my eye on you. More than that, I cannot promise.
Oh, now I know who this is! It's only one of my favorite characters in this game, Father Gregory. Well, yes, Ravenholm is known as the obligatory horror chapter of Half-Life 2. One thing I don't find many people discussing is just how utterly fascinating Gregory is as a character. Think about it. Every person in Vort that we've come across has known us to some extent, yet this one madman is just utterly unaware of how important we are to everyone outside of Ravenholm and rather views us as just another survivor that either slipped his view until now or just kind of showed up out of the blue. But while I was playing this chapter, I came to an admittedly strange conclusion. Gregory kind of parallels Gordon in some ways. Hear me out, right? Gregory is in the middle of a Combine-ravaged town. Every resident except him is affected by the crab shelling, and he, rather than run while he is able, instead opts to save everyone in Ravenholm, which more or less equates to just shooting them with his fancy shotgun. But he believes that with the Lord as his witness, that he can save everyone, and he will keep fighting until his very last breath, as it is what he believes that the Lord is commanding him to do. Now let's think back to Gordon's situation. He's shoved onto Earth, ravaged by the Combine, effectively given the command to help save humanity, or at least start the process of saving humanity. Every person around him is affected to some extent by the Combine's Iron Fist rule, and instead of submit, he takes the command he is given and runs with it, with the belief that he can save his people from the slow, agonizing death. And while in some aspects it may admittedly be a stretch, I still think it's an interesting thing to consider that Gregory is more than just a crazy man justifying his cleansing of Ravenholm with the holy texts, but is rather just Gordon's own shadow fighting alongside him in the darkest of places. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, Ravenholm. It's also around here that we are greeted by one of the two new headcrab variants, the venomous headcrab. These things are as horrifying as they look and sound, and while they're unable to outright kill you, they do instantly set your health to 1 for a brief time if they hit you. Later on, we find another new trap that also serves as a bit of a puzzle, falling cars. How the fuck did you even make these, Gregory? Speaking of, it's around here that he properly introduces himself.
Better and better. I am Father Grigori. You have already met my congregation.
Oh, sweet Jesus! Anyway, that's a fast headcrab. Did I mention that these new headcrab variants have associated zombies? No? Well, they do. Anyway, after pushing through an actual horde of zombies... Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, now we see what I mentioned like a minute ago.
Here, brother! Come closer. You've stirred up hell. A man after my own heart. Here, I have a more suitable gun for you. You'll need it. Catch. Good.
Oh, I didn't even realize we didn't have the shotgun yet. Thanks.
Hush. They come. There is no rest in Ravenhorn.
I'm sorry these fuckers can climb? Anyway, after we are fully introduced to the fast zombies, we are then introduced to the venom zombie. Yes, it can throw its extra head crabs at you, and yes, it is in fact tanky as hell. After that, we go through another little gauntlet and get jumped by a few more fast zombies to reach this little arena here, where...
Ah, there you are. At last. I will send the cart for you, brother. It will be but a moment. Patience, brother.
Oh, you're kidding me, right? After that heart attack of an event, Grigori leads us to the last gauntlet of the level, the Graveyard, which after several near-death experiences we reach the end, and Grigori leaves us with this.
Farewell, brother. I fear I deliver you to a darker place. May the light of lights illuminate your path. Look to your own salvation.
By far one of the hardest lines in this game, and I don't even think I need to explain why. Anyway, we now make it past the point where a friend of mine got too scared to continue. After that, and surviving the crab cave, we reach a railway overseen by Combine snipers. That was easy. After a few more snipers, we get our hands on a new weapon, the AR-2, or as I prefer to call it, the pulse rifle. After testing it out on an ambush, we...
Who's hurt?
Winston's been hit.
Patch him up and get him to the back as soon as he's stable.
Godspeed, you magnificent bastard. Anyway, it's here that we discover that Eli and Judith got captured and sent to a place called Nova Prospect during the raid, and were instructed to take a buggy down the coast in order to reach it. After a minor inconvenience, we're on the road through Highway 17, and of course, a dusty trail like this wouldn't be complete without an epic riff accompaniment. After we drive, we find a little broken down house off the side of the road, and it's infested with zombies. At least you get some gear from it. Back on the road, we find a house with some weird ground slam machine out front. Inside is Combine soldiers spying on a far-off resistance camp. After sending them to their maker, we get a look at where this camp is, and okay, what is he even doing here? A little further up, we find the purpose of these slammers, scaring off the antlions that have swarmed the coast. I'm sure these won't come around to be used against us, will it? Eventually, we reach the camp where we were given a brief lecture on the rocket launcher.
This steerable rocket launcher is our best bet for taking down a gunship. Ah, hello. I'll be right with you. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Using the laser guide, you can steer your rocket past the gunship's defenses and prevent it from shooting down your rocket. This will only anger it at first, but if you can survive long enough to make several direct hits, you'll be rewarded with a prize worthy of any mantelpiece. Now, who's going to be the lucky one to carry it into combat? Ah, yes. Gordon Freeman. I couldn't have asked for a finer volunteer.
Well, now we get to use it on a gunship. What on earth is that? Okay, after shooting down the gunship, we're allowed to move onwards to another magnet crane. We need to use this to move our buggy onto this platform and to proceed. After getting through the shipping docks and shooting down another gunship, we clear a path for us to keep cruising. Oh, what the fuck. I guess we gotta clear out this mess too, huh? After a few more pit stops, we find an area near a bridge. It's here that we find the crossbow. I love the crossbow. Anyway, we can't get over the bridge due to this force field, so for once we're on our feet for an extended time to find the generator on the other side of the bridge. This section has the most terrifying platforming in this game, not only because I hate heights, but also because there's barnacles around to make your job just that much harder. But we do find some combine towards the other end of the bridge. After shutting down the force field, we're suddenly hunted by a gunship. Once we shoot it down and make it back to our buggy, we cross the bridge and... Okay, now we keep driving. At least until we find ourselves in a dark tunnel with a few zombies in it. After that, and after a few more pit stops, we reach another resistance camp that's soon ambushed by the Combine. Once we cleared all that out, one of the Resistance guys leads us to a secret passage. Now without our sweet ride, we have to tread it on foot.
Still, Laszlo. Someone's coming. You there! Stop where you are! Stay on the rocks! Don't step on the sand! It makes the antlions crazy! Laszlo, don't move! No. Help! Dear God! Poor Laszlo! The finest mind of his generation! To come to such an end. We were heading for the Vortigaunt camp, hoping to pick up some bug baits so these damn things would leave us alone. But without Laszlo, what's the point?
Well, I guess we know what to do here. Stay off the sand. After a few physics puzzles and trying our best to stay off the sand, we find out that there's a bigger antlion. The Guardian. Well, there we go. So we soon meet a Vortigaunt who does something to the Guardian we just killed to get us a bug bait. Once we enter the camp, the Vortigaunt teaches us how the bug bait works, before leading us through a passageway near Nova Prospect. And with these new companions in hand, we begin our raid of this weird prison. Alright, anyway, we're now in Nova Prospect, and it's as depressing as you'd expect it to look. Our current goal is to go in and reduce the amount of automated security it has so that way we can send in the Antlions. Sounds easy enough, assuming you don't have the dumbest luck ever like me. Anyway, after a nice gauntlet of Combine soldiers, we find this screen displaying a... You know what, we'll talk about that later. After narrowly avoiding the wall, we eventually catch up with Alex and learn that we still don't even know the full extent of Nova Prospect. After she jacks into the security system and finds out where Eli is being held, she sends him over to another place nearby so that way we can speak with him.
Alright. Let me see if I can get this open.
Is that really you? I can't believe you found me.
Dad, are you all right?
I'm fine, but you've got to get out of here.
We're here to get you out, Dad.
Never mind me. Save
No,
yourselves.
we're not leaving you. I think I can recalibrate the Combine portal to get us out of here.
But where will you go?
I talked to Dr. Kleiner. His portal was almost working again. If he's managed to repair it, we'll end up there. If he hasn't, well, we couldn't be any worse off.
It's not worth the risk, Alex. I can't lose you. Get out while you can.
We're not leaving here without you. That's final.
We can't leave Judith here either.
Don't worry, Dad. We'll find her. For now, I'm going to send you to the teleport chamber. I'm not saying goodbye, Dad. We'll meet you there.
I know you will. I'll see you there, baby.
Alrighty, after we learn that there's apparently a teleporter around here, Alex goes back to the security station so that way she can help us clear the path ahead. That path pretty much leads us to yet another control room where we basically play tower defense with the Combine while we wait for Alex to show up. Once she does, she finds a frequency where we can see Mossman and...
Wait a minute. How'd she...
It's from your area.
I'm not calling about that.
What's she up to?
You promised you weren't going to touch Eli.
Oh my
The
god.
soldiers were a bit overzealous, I admit, but he was too tempting a prize to simply turn loose, especially in the absence of Gordon Freeman.
You would have had Freeman if you'd been patient and just waited for my signal.
We weren't entirely sure you were ever going to get around to that. Human loyalties being what they are.
Dr. As I have stated before, you have to let Eli come around on his own.
I have known Dr. Vance far longer than you, my dear. I'm afraid your feelings for him may have blinded you.
Feelings? This has nothing to do with feelings. It's a simple truth that when Eli believes
This is not open to debate, Dr. Mossman.
Doctor, please.
So sorry, Judith. I'm all out of time.
Damn her! I don't believe this!
Yeah, me neither, sister. Anyway, after we find out that Judith is a two-faced fuckwit, Alex lowers the fields and allows us to continue. After an admittedly bad parkour section and a few more tower defense segments, we meet up with Alex again to get ambushed. Yeah, as similar as it is to the end of Apprehension, we ain't getting knocked out again. Anyway, we lock Mossman in a room and approach for a little intervention.
Hello? Oh, thank God someone... Alex? Gordon, how did you get in here? We know all about you and Breen. What? You've been a spy for the Combine the whole time. What are you talking about? Damn it! Move back, Mossman, we're coming in. Alex, whatever you may think, I assure you, I have worked to protect your father. Shut up and be glad you're still some use to us. We're going to reconfigure this teleport and get the hell out of here.
You see, we're working to the same end. I've already reprogrammed the modulator to emulate a Zen relay.
That's my father's work you stole.
It's my work, too. And I had to prove to Dr. Breen that your father would be the most valuable member of any research effort going forward.
Enough of your bullshit! Look, Gordon, there's my dad. I'm going to bring him in.
You found Eli?
No thanks to you. Just enter the coordinates for Dr. Kleiner's lab and let's get moving.
But we need access to the teleport platform and we're locked out.
I'll take care of that.
After that, we find the Combine portal thing. Once Eli shows up...
I'm sorry, Alex. It's the only... No! are these? Where the hell did she take him?
Oh, go fuck yourself. Anyway, we now have to go for another rousing game of tower defense as the teleporter charges up again. As much as I'd usually turn this into a montage, I'd rather save that for something more interesting. Once we're able to get into the teleporter...
Get in!
This wasn't supposed to happen. Where even am I? This isn't Kleiner's lab. Am I just dreaming again? Isn't it a little early for me to be put in stasis again? Ah! Who is that? Someone say something? Guess it was nothing. What's happening now?
My God, we made it. But where's Dr. Kleiner? Dr. Kleiner, let us out!
Alex? Gordon? My God, how did you get here? And when?
What's wrong?
My dear, I had given up hope of ever seeing you again.
I was afraid we might not make it either. I think the teleport exploded just as we were porting out.
Indeed, it did. And the repercussions were felt far and wide, but that was over a week ago.
What do you mean?
Wait, we've been teleporting for a week?
Then what have we missed?
A great deal, my dear. The blow you struck at Nova Prospect was taken as a signal to begin the uprising.
Well, that's good news at least. The bad news is Eli is going to be held at the Citadel, which means that we have to somehow find our way in and free him. After somewhat catching up with Barney over a Discord call, we make our way outside to, well, whatever is left of the streets. We then watch Doc go on an absolute fucking rampage. We then continue after Dog forces open the gate ahead, and past that we see several Resistance members tearing down a Bream propaganda screen. Once you fight past some civil protection, we find ourselves in an alleyway of sorts, and we're introduced to the Hoppers, which are basically jumping landmines, cause at this point why the fuck not? Thankfully you can yank them out and instantly reprogram them with the gravity gun. Once you test them out on some Combine troops and make your way through a small labyrinth of rooms, we reach another street that's been demolished by the Combine, and yet another secret pathway through whatever's left of an apartment complex. Onto another street we get ambushed by manhacks. It's been a while, and no, I did not miss these mosquito-ass machines. A bit further, we fend off some civil protection while we wait for another pathway to open. Past here and through this area filled with raw sewage, we find another apartment complex overrun with Combine units. And thankfully, we're rewarded with another Alex meetup.
I've got Dr. Kleiner in a safe spot. Now we can join up with Barney. There's a command center downstairs. I'm hoping to find information about generator locations. Ready? Let's go.
With her, we can power through more soldiers to go meet up with Barney. However, to do so, we need to blast apart a generator in the town square. Again, this section isn't too interesting and admittedly tedious, so we'll somewhat be breezing past it. After that, we go through another series of passageways filled with Combine and zombies, and after testing the durability of Combine's skull with some metal barrels, we are introduced to the Super Soldiers, which are armed with pulse rifles that can also spit balls at us. No, I'm not joking. After this, we find ourselves in another sniper alleyway, which is what's keeping Barney pinned down. Thankfully, they're easily silenced with heavy artillery. Now that we have Barney on our team, we can make our way to the town hall, which is absolutely crawling with Combine soldiers. We need to head inside to disable the suppression units around the Citadel, so we kinda have no other options. Inside the town hall are sentries galore as well as tons of Combine units, which we need to fight through to disable 3 power cores holding up the suppression units. After we do that, we have another fight with a couple of gunships on the roof of the town hall, which is actually pretty fucking fun, honestly. Beyond here is basically a ton of gauntlets leading straight to the Citadel. Once we reach the Citadel walls, we see Doug again, and after they force open a path into the Citadel, Barney hits us with the hardest line in the game.
And if you see Dr. Breen, tell him I said.
We now find ourselves in the Citadel. Kinda. We have a small journey to take before we're really in it, and that journey involves traveling via this weird metal straitjacket. I just want to talk about the visuals you get here for a bit, because honestly that's really all you can do here. The Citadel is this winding, towering, impossibly massive structure lined wall to wall with these containers of sorts. Each one likely holding someone inside and functioning like a high-security prison that's even more intense than Nova Prospect. You see these mutated humans, malformed by a Combine technology and forced to work as overseers of their own kind, these highly advanced power and construction sites for gunships. It almost seems overwhelming. If this is only a fraction of what the Combine can do, then imagine what their overworld must be. And yet, despite all that, you still have this overwhelming feeling of determination. If you could survive this, you can take them down. That is the nature of the human spirit, after all. And when you're dropped into a confiscation chamber, instead of vaporizing everything, it instead leaves you with an overcharged gravity gun. Armed only with this, you make your presence known throughout the Citadel as you make your way to Breen.
May the light of lights illuminate your path. Walk to your own salvation.
Tell me, Dr. Freeman, if you can. You have destroyed so much. What is it exactly that you have created? Can you name even one thing? I thought not.
Once we step into another container, we get one last look at the skyline below before we reach Breen's office. Our gravity gun is stripped from us as we're carried into his office, unfortunately.
Satellites colonized by Section, Fuji. Gas giants, inhabited by vast meteorological intelligences. Worlds stretched thin across the membranes where the dimensions intersect. Impossible to describe with our limited vocabulary.
What I've seen is also beyond words, Breen. Genocide. Indescribable evil. Good God.
Well, if it isn't Gordon Freeman at last. What's this? I'll put it over there. You have my gratitude, Doctor. First you lead me straight to the doorstep of my oldest friend, and then you deliver yourself? If I'd known you were going to come straight up to my office, I wouldn't have bothered hunting you in the first place. Having both of you in my keeping ensures I can dictate the terms of any bargain I care to make with the Combine.
Dr. Breen.
Huh.
Wallace.
Yes, Judith, what is it?
The bargain we should be making is for Eli's life so he can continue his research.
Thanks to you, we have everything we need in that regard. You're more than qualified to finish his research yourself. What neither you nor I can do is convince that rabble in the streets to give up their senseless struggle. Yet Eli refuses to speak the words that would save them all.
Save them? For what?
Eli, if you won't do the right thing for the good of all people, maybe you'll do it for one of them.
Alex, honey.
Dad. Gordon?
God damn you, Breen, you let her go.
That's all up to you, my old friend. Will you let your stubborn short-sightedness doom the entire species, or will you give your child the chance her mother never had?
How dare you even mention her?
Alex, my dear, you have your mother's eyes, but your father's stubborn nature.
You haven't seen a bit of it yet.
Really? Well, let's see how well it serves you on the far side of a Combine portal.
Go ahead, Breen. If that's the worst you can do, send us both through your portal.
Oh, it's hardly the worst. But you might find that hard to believe once you get there.
It isn't necessary.
I agree. It's a total waste. Fortunately, the Resistance has shown it is willing to accept a new leader. And this one has proven to be a fine pawn for those who control him.
No!
Don't listen to him, Gordon.
How about it, Dr. Freeman? Did you realize your contract was open to the highest bidder?
Gordon would never make any kind of deal with you.
I understand if you don't wish to discuss this in front of your friends. I'll send them on their way, and then we can talk openly.
Don't struggle, honey.
Dad, I'm so sorry.
Alex, sweetheart.
Judith, what do you think you're doing?
We're doing what I could never do alone. We're stopping you.
Yes.
Guards, get in here. They know you betrayed them. They'll turn on you. Judith, Dr. Mossman, please.
I'm sorry, Wallace. You're all out of time. Don't.
Hurry! Dad, hang on.
You fool!
Watch out, he's gonna...
No!
Well, I guess we got an old man to chase down. After Alex gives her gratitude to us, we find Breen speaking with this weird slug thing. Thankfully, in his mad dash to escape us, he left the gravity gun behind, which he can use to stop him from escaping this world through a Combine portal. After a climactic showdown against a couple of gunships, we overload the portal and pretty much close it. And once Alex shows up...
You need me!
Yeah! You did it! Come on, Gordon. We've got to get out of here. Maybe we still have...
Time, Dr. Freeman? Is it really that time again? It seems as if you only just arrived. You've done a great deal in a small time span. You've done so well, in fact, that I've received some interesting offers for your services. Ordinarily, I wouldn't contemplate them, but these are extraordinary times. Rather than offer you the illusion of free choice, I will take the liberty of choosing for you, if and when your time comes round again. I do apologize for what must seem to you an arbitrary imposition, Dr. Freeman. I trust it will all make sense to you in the course of... well, I'm really not at liberty to say. In the meantime, this is where I get off.
And thus ends Half-Life 2. Alright, now, where did I put the episode 1 disc? It's gotta be around here somewhere.
Can you hear me now?
Huh? Who's there? What'd you call me? I didn't quite catch that.
I suppose you haven't gotten to the point where you can comprehend your own strength yet.
What are you... I'm getting out of my head? I have something I need to do here.
Not yet, Wanderer. Not until the time is right.
What are you even talking about?
I'm here to break your shackles. You don't want to be chained to the earth forever, do you?
Suppose you're talking about the G-Man. Yeah, it kinda sucks you ripped me from my house and jammed me into here. I do want to go home.
Once I free you, you will be able to do more than just go home. But until the time is right, you must finish your current task. I do hope you understand.
I get it. By the way, who are you? Yep, should have seen that one coming. Oh, here's the disc, right in front of my face the whole damn time. Anyway...
Tell me, Dr. Freeman, if you can. You have destroyed so much. What is it exactly that you have created? Can you name even one thing? I thought not.
We'll see about that.
He has to be somewhere around here. Any luck with this dog? Dog, I think I found something. Drop what you're doing and help me over here. Oh my god! Gordon!
Oh, hi again, Alex. Alright, anyway, we're back in City 17, or I guess whatever is left of it. After Dog gives us our gravity gun, we make progress to a conveniently placed communication terminal of sorts, where we see Eli and Kleiner way far from City 17 and urging us to get out while we can. Unfortunately, since we're still at the Citadel, kinda, we can't exactly get to any reliable method of evacuation in time, so the plan changes to kinda...
Well, actually, we're still at the Citadel.
What? Oh dear, but there's really no time. The core is exceedingly close to collapse. Why, there's no way to get far enough without first... Well, nothing short of a direct intervention in the core could possibly retard the reaction.
You mean going in?
Into the core, yes. But it's far too dangerous to consider. The chamber will be bathed in radiation.
Well, you do have the hazard suit.
Okay, yeah, I do have the hazard suit, but I don't know how... Okay, and we're doing the idea anyway. I guess it's better than us and whoever else is still in City 17 getting completely atomized. After some Lara Croft-esque cliff travel and Dog giving us a mini heart attack, we find a potential entrance to the Citadel core. Now, where's Dog going?
Dog, where are you going? Was it something I said? Huh? Dog, what are you... I think Dog needs a few bolts tightened. Look out! Dog, really, that was a little close. What's gotten into you, huh?
Oh, thank goodness I was out of the way. Now, what are we doing with this, I hear you ask? Well, it's simple. Dog is gonna chuck us into the Citadel using this trailer park van. What, do you have any better ideas? Don't answer, because of course I can't exactly hear you from here. Anyway, after crash landing closer to the core and losing the van, we now begin to try and find where we need to go. In what looks like the start of the heresy layer of hell. Anyway, as we walk in further, we find this weird spot where this thing... Stalker, is keeping the field shut. To our left is a pipe still transporting roller mines, which gives Alex the idea for us to grab one and send it out into the stalkers. As we try to find a way to get a roller mine, we find out our suit is still overclocked, as the suit charger still heals us and gives us 200 energy. Oh, fuck me! Okay, anyway, ignore that. After bringing back one of the mines, Alex reprograms it to go after the stalkers, which it does shortly before self-destructing. Now that we can proceed, we see some Combine soldiers running for their lives instead of immediately attacking us. At least they have their priorities in order for now. A little further up... Okay, well, now that just seems like poor planning on the Combine's part. After surviving the suck-off bridge, we find a terminal with a pre-recorded Breen speaking with that weird slug-looking thing we saw briefly in the base game. And now it's appearing all over the screen?
What the hell?
Okay. I'm now both intrigued and incredibly terrified of those slugs now. Anyway, after receiving Eldritch Knowledge, we end up in another weird confiscation field, which overcharges our gravity gun once more. With this, we're now able to do this puzzle where we have to direct a charge into that little port to reactivate the bridge across, which will happen a few more times, all while being shot at. What these Combine don't know is that this gun is probably more radioactive than the core, and it's able to direct it right into their soul before I drag it out of them. Now that we're past that, we watch God's drunkest dropship shortly before we find a lift that can actually take us down to the core. Of course, it won't be easy. We're in a facility on the brink of a beyond Chernobyl level meltdown, so shit's falling from the sky that we must use our super gravity gun to blast away from our lift, and by extension our heads. On top of that too, it stops occasionally, meaning that we have to direct an energy ball to a receptacle in order to keep it moving, with some overseen by stalkers that we have to take down as well. But anyway, we soon make it to the core. Okay, what in the fuck? Is that a damn black hole? And you want me to go in there? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm right next to a friggin' black hole. I'd expect there to be a crazy amount of radiation. Anyway, here we gotta not only deal with the stalkers and energy ball puzzles, but also regular Combine units that for some reason are still in the core and defending it with their lives. Our main goal is to find and power up these doohickeys, which seem to stabilize the black hole in the core enough to slow down the inevitable meltdown enough for us to actually make our escape, all dealing with being shot at by the world's smartest Combine ever seen. The one thing I will say is that here there's something almost hauntingly beautiful about this section. Maybe it's because this is the brightest area we've seen despite there being a big-ass black hole in the middle of the core, but I'll say that this is so far one of the coolest intro areas of any game that I've covered so far. And this game came out in 2006. But after slowing down the meltdown and returning to Alex, we find out why there's still Combine in the core.
Chain reaction, alright. But destroying the Citadel is just a side effect. Since we took out Breen's reactor, this is the only way they have to send a transmission packet back to wherever they came from. I can't tell what the packet contains, but it's important enough that they're willing to sacrifice the whole Citadel to send it off. We need to get it back to my dad and Dr. Kleiner at the outpost right away.
Well, if they're willing to effectively cause Chernobyl 2 to send it, I can only assume the worst. And I'll also assume they won't take too kindly to the fact that we now have a copy of that data.
There's something else. It's Judith. Take a look.
I'm fairly sure I've pinned down the location of the project. It's hard to say how much of it might have survived intact, or whether there's anything remaining that could compromise our work, if it were discovered by the Combine. We'll need to take a close look at it, of course, but I should be able to give a better opinion within a few hours. If the site is where we think it is, then it should be no more than... I'm gonna cut this short. We may have been spotted.
Where the hell is she?
Well, I sure do hope that creature doesn't become a problem later. Oh, yeah, our gravity gun returned to normal for some reason, so that's unfortunate. Anyway, an alarm goes off, prompting us to get the hell out of there and take a lift that leads us close to a train that can hopefully get us out of the Citadel. After introducing the Combine to more roller mines, we find a train that's transporting stalkers. Ugh. Then the train crashes, and we're in... God knows where. After freeing Alex from a stalker, we climb out of the wreck to try and find some way to the surface. Our first visual is what used to be a car tunnel with empty turrets, attempting to fire at a horde of zombies and headcrabs. There's also a handful of hoppers around to use on these undead freaks. Soon we find a vent, where we learn a little more Gordon lore from Alex.
I've heard stories about you and air ducts. Dr. Kleiner says whenever he locked himself out of his office, you and Barney used to compete to see who could get in fastest without using a key.
After doing some venting, we find a couple guns and turn on a power box so we can make progress. Here we see a mix of antlions and zombies all over the place, and another train car with...
What the hell is that? A Combine zombie. That's like a zombine, right? Zombine, get it? Crap! Look out! It's got a grenade!
Oh, yeah, they do that, how fun. Anyway, further ahead we find another power box and make a little more progress to this tunnel, which leads us to the start of what seems like a car park infested with antlions. In order to slow them down, we have to cover their burrows with any large heavy object, mainly cars. After a venomous headcrab jump scare, we find a larger section with several antlion burrows that must be plugged up, which involves a good amount of exploration nearby to find enough cars to cover the holes with. Anyway, that's the last time we have to deal with that for a little bit. After wading through some water, we find an elevator that could get us to the surface, but of course we gotta survive until it arrives. Okay, we are finally out of there. After repairing the gate and opening it,
Come on, Gordon, crank that thing!
we reach the surface where we overhear a broadcast from Kleiner.
I've never been happy to see
are
Dr.
completely cut off. Combine forces currently stationed on Earth are now isolated units, stranded. However, this is most likely a temporary state of affairs. As we once learned to our dismay, even the relatively tiny fracture at Black Mesa gave our enemies an opening which they were able to force ever wider as they poured through in greater and greater numbers. In addition to the completely xenotheric species, there are many modified post-human allies still remaining on Earth who will be doing their utmost to re-establish lines of communication and supply with the larger forces. Even so, there is greater reason for hope now than at any time in the past decade. We have made, in secret, several technological advances which we will do our best to deploy in advance of the Combine's return. We continue to diligently assemble and train a new generation of scientists and technicians. For what the Combine fear the most is not any tangible human weapon, but our will, our intellect, our ability to respond selectively and rationally to every terror they turn against us. We place our firmest hope in the human spirit, even knowing how easily it may be shattered. We have all seen friends and family crushed by the Combine. Some of our neighbors have allowed themselves to be co-opted and purged of their humanity by the military machine. And those who resisted have met a most terrible fate. Still, I cannot overstate how important it is that we retain our humanity. Only this will allow us to hold together, as we must, for their inevitable return, and what is certain to be unimaginable retaliation.
You know, I didn't think we'd get an indomitable human spirit speech from a scientist, but you know what? I heavily respect it. Anyway, now that we're on the surface, we're greeted with Combine and Antlions, both of which fighting each other and you if they're able. After slowing more Antlion pits, we find another physics puzzle that we need to solve to turn off the flames in this building, so that way we can make progress and meet up with more of the resistance. Up above is a sniper, which we take care of with a reprogrammed roller mine. We now have to make our way through a Combine fortified street, but we have Alex taking over the sniper spot we cleared out, so it's not as crazy. We also have to worry about zombies and Antlions on top of the Combine, which make it even more hectic to get through the gate on the other side. Once we make it through, we wait for Alex to come by and shut down the field so we can proceed into an apartment complex. Past that, we're greeted by an Antlion Guardian. What? This section took more attempts than I care to admit to. Hey, listen, at least I admit that I even died at all. Anyway, we find another building with a box of explosives in it that we need to go through in order to turn on another breaker box. After we fight through another street, we find what I can only assume is the last resistance camp in City 17, where their entertainment is Dr. Kleiner's speech.
For those so inclined, now would be an excellent time for procreation.
Oh, I used to want to sell insurance.
Is Dr. Kleiner really telling everyone to get busy?
We must make the most of.
Oh. Yeah, I kind of forgot that that was a thing the Combine were suppressing. Anyway, after an oddly labyrinthine pathway, we meet up with Barney, who's surprisingly still in City 17. I guess we kind of saved his ass too, huh? Anyway, since we have classified Combine documents with us, they followed us to the camp, which then leads us to have to take an alternate route to the train so that the Resistance has a chance to make it there in one piece. It's also here that we're reunited with our trusty crowbar.
Gordon, before you go, I was getting tired of carrying this around. Listen, I don't have many more of these, so try not to lose this one, okay?
And further along, we find a crossbow, too. After a bit of rooftop combat, we find ourselves against a gunship. Thankfully, up ahead, we get a rocket launcher to blast down the gunship and a small wave of Combine that show up afterward. And we find ourselves in what's left of a hospital. Which, despite the lack of darkness, still unnerves me for some reason. Maybe it's because there are zombies all over the place, I don't know. But after restoring some power to the building and getting the hell out of the hospital, we find our way to the train station where our main goal is to move groups of Resistance members from one point to the train without them dying to the Combine before we go in ourselves to escape. And it's certainly one hell of a trip each time.
Here we go. We did it, Gordon.
episode 1 concludes. Alright, this is getting old real fast. Who keeps misplacing my games? Jeez. Miss Valentine, your journey nears its end, and yet I sense apprehension. Well, I'm stuck in an unfamiliar void with only the voices in my head to keep me company, and I just know you're gonna shove me in stasis after this. So yeah, naturally I'm pretty damn apprehensive. Someone has contacted you, have they not? Yeah, and how would you know? Last I checked, I don't think you could read minds, G-Man. Pay no mind to those voices. Your task is nearing its end, and I wait to see your accomplishments. Yeah, more like you're waiting to imprison me again. I'm understanding your game, G-Man. For once, we don't have an intro to listen to, and we start in what I assume is the train that we escaped on, which is now hanging on the rails. As we descend into another collapsed train car, we hear Alex calling our name, and when she sees us, she rips the door off with the gravity gun nearby before handing it back to us. We also discover that we lost our trusty crowbar. Sorry, Barney. Anyway, our main goal is to... Okay, what the hell happened to the Citadel? Okay, I guess there's no coming back, huh? Well, we make our way into this mine shaft, discovering a ton of zombie and antlion corpses littering the place. Most of them, at least, stay corpses. After that, we find a radio station, where, after we fix it up, we get into contact with Kleiner and Eli.
White Forest! White Forest, this is Alex Vance. Do you read? White Forest, come in. White Forest, are you there?
Alex! My goodness, is that really you?
Yes, and Gordon too. We're okay. We made it out of City 17.
Alex, thank God. I can hardly believe it.
Don't worry, Dad, we're fine. But something really strange is happening with the Citadel.
Oh yes, we've been monitoring the situation. The raw discharge of the meltdown has been focused into a coherent beam of portal energy.
It's the Combine. They're trying to open another gateway.
Yes, what you're seeing is the infancy of a super portal. If it attains full strength...
It'll be the 7-hour war all over again. Except this time we won't last 7 minutes.
My God. Gordon, what if that's why they were sending so much data from the Citadel? So that...
Data? From the Citadel?
In the control room. They were feeding huge volumes of data directly into the core destruction sequence.
Magnuson, did you hear that? I'll bet it's the Combine portal code.
Yes, I'm not deaf.
I downloaded the whole packet. They've been chasing us ever since.
Well, of course they have. You see, Kleiner, it's the linchpin of all of their plans.
Well, I can see that. I never said...
Somewhere in that sequence, they would have had to establish a connection with the far side. What you have there, young lady, is the specific contact code for the Combine overworld. Good God. Now, if I am right about this, and I have no reason to doubt myself, you are carrying the very code Dr. Mossman had hoped to recover. Now, how soon can you get here?
Well, we'll have to get our bearings, but we can definitely...
There is no time to waste. We'll need to step up the launch schedule. And now, as soon as you get here with the signature data, we'll encode the satellite and get the damn thing into orbit. Get here as quickly as you can, you two. For God's sake.
Dad! You're breaking up! Come in! Dad, are you there? Dad!
Continue surface
no.
Alright, main mission. Reach White Forest. Nearby, we find this mining train yard area where we have to find a way to open the gate and make progress.
Combine was intact? What was that?
What the hell? What was that? Okay, now we make our way out and...
Oh my God!
Kara! Jam. Ko. The Alex Vance. What harm has come? Ah, the free man. I am pleased to see at least you are unharmed. But the Alex Vance, her condition is grave.
Thanks, Vort. Anyway, new mission. Get Alex to the other Vortigons so that way she can get healed. I just hope we don't have to fight whatever that thing was anytime soon. Oh, hey, a crowbar! Oh, hey, we're falling again. Anyway, we're now deeper in the mines and we're greeted by this crank lift, which leads us to a pistol. A little further down, we're in what looks like a giant nest? There's these grubs that drop health pellets, so at least we have a semi-consistent way of healing in case we need it. Whoa. Okay, anyway, these weird nest tunnels lead us back to another part of the mineshaft. We're greeted by these new antlions. They spit acid at you, and they're a little tougher than their surface cousins. Anyway, we find our way back into the nest, and after forcing the antlions to do a little schwim, we find a resistance camp? Kinda inconvenient placement, don't you think? Anyway, the Vort beats us to this location, so now we gotta help out in keeping the antlions away from Alex. Let's hope this isn't a total pain in the ass. Let's hope that was the last of them for a little while. Anyway, it seems like we need some kind of larval extract to heal up Alex, which means we have to make our way back into the nest, but now with a free-handed Vortigon to defend us from antlions that attempt to storm us. Obviously, it's more us defending the Vort, but whatever, works out either way. Anyway, after some traversal and nearly getting blown up by a trapped grenade, we find a puzzle in another mineshaft.
What did the Freeman expect to find down there? Truly, the Freeman leaves no path unexplored.
Well, that is what I do regularly, buddy. Past these zombies and headcrabs is the actual puzzle, which starts with weighing down this platform enough to get us to a lower section. Behold, more zombies blocking the path to another lift that moves up too fast for us to reasonably get to. I think you can guess what we need to do here. There we go. Now that we can continue, we make our way further into the mineshaft and almost die in a pit. Thankfully, we find the nest nearby, which connects to an area with one of those thumper machines in it. Inside is a mix of antlions and zombies we have to fight against, at least until another lift arrives. Hey, it's just like in episode 1. Except we can actually see this time, which I feel like I should mention that it's only in episode 2 when they actually bothered to separate the flashlight power from the stamina bar. Anyways, now both us and the Vort are away from the Horde, and after finding a glowing guardian, we find another lift. Unfortunately, we won't be using it to get to the bottom of the shaft, and instead we will climb through this fan shaft to get where we need to go. After a little schwim, we find ourselves in this labyrinth of tunnels which leads us to that guardian. We basically have to avoid it at any cost, as killing it is not an option. After finding a path to another section of the mines, we repair and call down the lift so the Vortigon can lead us to this extract. After they grab it, we head back up to Alex, where...
Behold, the extract.
ridiculous secretion.
Make haste!
Join now as we imbibe the extract.
Yes.
A human is needed. Agreed. Join us, Freeman. We weave the Freeman's life with hers. Yes, there is a quickening, almost mortal, in this bond between you.
Dr. Freeman. I realize this moment may not be the most convenient for a heart-to-heart, but I had to wait until your friends were otherwise occupied. There was a time they cared nothing for Miss Vance, when their only experience of humanity was a crowbar coming at them down a steel corridor. When I plucked her from Black Mesa, I acted in the face of objections that she was a mere child and of no practical use to anyone. I have learned to ignore such naysayers when quelling them was out of the question. Still, I am not one to squander my investments, and I remain confident she was worth far more than the initial appraisal. That's why I must now extract from you some small repayment owed for your own survival. See her safely to White Forest, Dr. Freeman. I wish I could do more than keep an eye on you, but I have agreed to abide by certain restrictions. Well, now listen carefully, my dear. When you see your father, relay these words. Prepare for unforeseen consequences.
She stirs. Her vocal form has regained integrity. We have a very immeasurable loss.
Well, that seems a little different than... anyway, Alex is alive again, and we're able to make more progress.
Whoa! That was a guardian. Somebody must have done something to piss it off.
Okay, well that was rude. Anyway, outside we can see the Combine hauling ass in the direction of White Forest, which urges us to hurry onward. Thankfully, the Vort knows of a place with a vehicle nearby. After destroying the Guardian we saw earlier, we head up to where there used to be a resistance camp. And down below is where the vehicle is, meaning that we have to try and find our way to it. Which also means more zombies! Thankfully, Alex has access to another sniper rifle and is able to help us out as long as there's a clean shot. After some more zombies and some tricky traversal, we find our way to another physics puzzle. Here we have to balance this bridge in a way so we can get this car to the other side safely. And smooth landing as usual. Now that we have this, we can finally make more progress to White Forest. We eventually find another radio station that we have to power up, and we're interrupted by these things again. The Hunters. These things are not only really freaky looking, but in my opinion are kind of fun to fight. Also, somewhat unrelated fact, but in Gmod there's two different Hunter models, with one being called Mini Strider. Oh no, I just felt like pointing that out because I find it interesting. Anyway, we get into contact with White Forest again.
The signal's really weak. Well, let's give it a try. White Forest, come in. White Forest, do you read? White Forest, do you read?
This is White Forest. Identify yourself.
This is
Alex? Alex Vance? Where are you? I expected you hours ago.
Well, we had a bit of a setback.
Don't you understand the gravity of the situation? The survival of Earth depends on the data you carry.
Yes, I know. But the Combine, they're heading your way.
What? What's that? What? You're heading our way? Well, I should hope so.
No, not
what?
us.
What was that?
Combine.
You're breaking up, Alex. What? What?
Crap.
Okay, well that doesn't look good. Anyway, we open the gate and soon come across another set of houses. In the basement we find...
Sorry about this. Maybe I can get this open. There we go. Over to you, Gordon. Oh my God!
even are those things? Well, after fighting our way back out, we take another nice drive while being hunted by a chopper. Did that get you? Yeah, I bet it did, you coward. After that, our car breaks down, causing us to take a small pit stop near this camp. Here, we help take down the chopper and find out that they have some car mechanics working with them. How lucky. Unfortunately, we have to clear out a sort of no-man's land area nearby so we can safely go through without getting immediately gunned down. It's at least something to do while waiting for the car to get fixed. It's of course swarming with Combine and zombies, which we swiftly introduce to the concept of kinetic force. Once they blow up the gun, we head back to find the car repaired and with a brand new radar. With this, we can find hidden caches of supplies that they hid around the area. With this, we continue our drive to White Forest, and after a small inconvenience, we come across a crashed dropship.
Whoa, a dropship. That must have been the crash we heard.
Okay. Remind me to never get on Dog's bad side. Anyway, here we are at White Forest. Here we can hear a lesson on the AR-2.
So, you ever used an AR-2 before?
AR-2? No. Now, an AR-3, sure. Plenty of times.
There is no such thing as an AR-3.
Well, see, in the city, the place was lousy with AR-3s.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. So do you know what the alternative fire method does on the AR-2? It kills hunters. How did you city folk kill hunters?
We sure as hell didn't use guns. We would just wrestle hunters to the ground with our bare hands. I used to kill 10, 20 a day, just using my fists.
Oh, so when you're out in the field, you're gonna be punching hunters?
In the field? I'm not going out in the field. I'm a radio operator.
That's it. Leave. You don't need to be here, and I'm not gonna continue the lesson until you leave.
I'm staying right here.
Anyway, we meet up with Eli, and a little later, Kleiner and Magnuson.
Last thing on my mind was submitting it for the Kleiner certificate of approval. The trouble behind it were the result of staffing and supply deficiencies. And your cranial conjugal parasite away from my nose cone!
Now listen here, Magnuson. There's no call for hurtful comments. Good grief. Eli, why didn't you tell me they'd arrived?
Don't worry, Izzy. They just got here.
My dear, what a relief. Not to mention a delight to see you here at last. And Gordon, I see you in the HEV suit have taken excellent care of each other.
They're inseparable.
The data, people, the data! Kleiner, are you going to sync up the satellite, or should I postpone the launch to make time for a family reunion?
All right. I was just saying hello to Alex and Gordon.
Oh, fine. No one grants me a moment's peace, but by all means, unroll the red carpet.
Good grief.
Well, Magnuson seems like a fun guy, huh? Anyway, after handing over the data, we get an alarm from the second silo, in which Magnuson has us investigate it. We find that it is now swarming with Combine, so we have no choice but to clear it out. Now that we have that cleared up, we find out what was so special about the data packet. The discovery of some kind of boat called the Borealis.
It's the Borealis.
Good God.
Incredible.
What? The Borealis? It's real?
Oh yes, quite real, despite its almost legendary stature. Our peers at Aperture Science were at work on a project of some promise. But in their rush to beat Black Mesa for funding, they must have compromised ordinary standards of risk. We heard their research vessel had simply disappeared, vanished, with all hands, and even part of the dry dock. Few believed the Borealis would ever be seen again.
It should have been lost forever.
Ah, but now that we've found it, we can use it against the Combine.
Did you...
Use it! That thing has to be destroyed.
But think of the advantage for humanity. We can't simply waste all that potential.
Has Black Mesa taught you anything? There's no controlling that kind of power.
Well, yes. There's always a risk, Eli. But my goodness, we have coordinates, blueprints, hailing frequencies. Quite ingenious of Dr. Mossman to hide it all in the carrier way.
Well, that means she's still alive up there. But if the Combine catch her, they'll tear out everything she knows. There'll be nothing left of her.
But we don't know for sure
I won't
that...
take that chance. I'm going after her.
Dad! Now, Eli, the only thing worse than Judith falling into their hands would be if they should get a hold of you. She may know the particulars of the Borealis, but you know everything about the Resistance.
Listen to Dr. Kleiner, Dad. Gordon and I are more than able to handle this. We'll get her back.
Kleiner, where are you? Why isn't the decoding finished?
Oh, fine. The code. Yes, Magnuson. It just needs a little bit longer.
If you're waiting for the Combine's go-ahead, they'll soon be here to give it to you in person.
I'll hurry it along, Magnuson. I'll be back as soon as I finish.
Dad, are you okay?
Not again. No, I can't let it happen again. Not another Black Mesa.
Prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad! Okay. It's okay. Just lean into me. Let's get you off your feet.
Thank you, baby. I'll be fine in a minute or two.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Actually, Alex, would you mind getting me a cup of tea? There's a hot plate in the old staff room.
I'll be right back. Gordon, keep an eye on him.
We're not going anywhere. Thank you, baby. Unforeseen consequences. The last time I heard those words was back at Black Mesa. You had just stepped into the test chamber when he whispered them in my ear. You know who I'm talking about. Our mutual friend. When he brought in that crystal, I knew I should have aborted that damn test, but I didn't. The whole world went to hell that day. And now he's using my little girl, putting words in her mouth. God damn it. I should have known when he rescued her it was for his own damn reasons. Gordon, there's so much I need to tell you. Between us, we may finally have a chance of,
Here you go.
Well, at least we know we're not the only ones aware of the G-Man. After Dick Magnuson barges in, he tells us to follow him so he can instruct us on the use of these Magnuson devices, which basically destroy the Striders instantly. After a little bit of training, we find out that, yes, the microwave was in fact a canon event.
Oh, and Freeman, if you pull this off, I might just forgive you for that debacle at Black Mesa. You know the one I mean, involving a certain microwave casserole.
Bro really held that grudge for 20 years, didn't he? Anyway, we find out that our car got another upgrade, just in time for us to help keep away the incoming Striders. You have no idea how stressful that sequence was. Now that we're congratulated by Magnuson, we head up to the control room to watch the rocket launch, which thankfully it works as we watch that portal in the distance close up. After that, we make our way to an escape helicopter and...
Are you sure you have everything you need?
I think so. Dr. Kleiner gave us the Borealis coordinates. We'll keep the hailing frequency open on the chopper radio in case Judith tries to reach us again.
Good idea. She could well make another attempt.
Oh no. Dad! Gordon! Help! Dad!
Alex!
Dad! Get away!
Listen to me. Destroy that ship! Whatever it takes! Destroy it!
Don't! Dad, look out! No! Dad! Dad! God damn it, let go of him! Oh my god!
I love you, sweetheart. Close your eyes, honey.
I love you, Dad!
Don't look.
No! Oh my god, no! my god. Don't leave me.
And thus ended the Half-Life series. At least until 2020 when Half-Life Alyx dropped. Now, as I said, I don't have access to a VR headset, but for the sake of research, I decided to look up the ending to the game, fully understanding the risk of being spoiled on this game. And of course, there is in fact a G-Man scene for the end.
Alright, Gordon. Let's get you out of this thing.
Impressive work, Ms. Vance.
Gordon Freeman?
Gordon Freeman. Ms. Vance, you wouldn't need all that to imprison Gordon Freeman.
So, who are you?
Perhaps what I am is not as important as what I can offer you in exchange for coming all this way. Some believe the fate of our worlds is inflexible. My employers disagree. They authorize me to nudge things in a particular direction from time to time. What would you want nudged, Miss Vance?
The Combine off Earth. I want the Combine off Earth.
That would be a considerably large nudge. Too large, given the interests of my employers.
Well, you asked.
What if I could offer you something you don't know you want?
Dad? What? Is that me? What is this? What's happening?
We are in the future. This is the moment where you watch your father die. Unless...
What? Unless what?
Unless you were to take matters into your own hands. Release your father, Miss Vance. Good. As a consequence of your action, this entity will continue, and this entity will not.
Right. So he's okay, right? He lives. My dad lives.
You are aware that you've proven yourself to be of extraordinary value. A previous hire has been unable or unwilling to perform the tasks laid before him. We have struggled to find a suitable replacement until now.
No! I just want to go home. Send me home!
I'm afraid you misunderstand the situation, Miss Vance.
Wait! Hey, wait! Wait! Wait!
Now, what this could mean for the series going forward is really anyone's guess. But as usual, it leaves a lot for speculation and excitement for hopefully future titles. But for now, that ends. Miss Valentine. Oh boy, here it comes. It seems that time has come again. As I said before, it seems we barely have even arrived, and yet here we are at the very end. Just get it over with. Now, what would be the purpose in rushing things? You've been rather patient during this endeavor, and here you are wanting to rush things along. We know how this ends. Indeed. We do.
Interloper, cease your actions.
I thought I told you that.
You refuse to listen, and I have come to fulfill my promise.
I have warned you that you cannot simply free her.
You and I both know you have no choice in this matter. She deserves to be free, to be home, not to be used as some pawn.
What is even happening? We'll see about that.